Hey everyone, so I'm recording mine again to add some visual aids to my sports interesting facts from England. So let's get into my PowerPoint. Okay, so I chose to do England. Of course, being from England, I thought maybe you guys would like to know some interesting facts. So the first one I did was Port Vale Soccer Club. As you can see, their crest is up there. This is interesting because usually sports teams, especially English soccer teams, are named after where they are found, or at least part of their name is where they are from. So I'm from Nottingham, so we have Notts County and Nottingham Forest. The only team in England, however, who does not follow this trend is actually Port Vale, and they currently play in the 4th tier of professional soccer. I found this fact interesting not only due to their name not relating to where they're from, but also because their name actually has reference to where the ports of the Trent and Mersey canals meet. On my next slide, I will show you on the map, as you can see, Port Vale Football Club with the red arrow, and the blue arrow is actually Stoke-on-Trent, which has no relation to Port Vale. Okay, next fact is the home of England soccer, which is Wembley Stadium. Wembley is actually a facility for England's national soccer team. Most national teams, however, don't have a facility dedicated just to them, and England's Wembley Stadium is actually the home of English soccer. It is used for other sports venues, but mostly for just the national team's use. It has the biggest seating capacity for all stadium facilities in the whole of the country, with 90,000 seats that all can be found without an obstructed view to the field. So that means there's no poles, pillars, or anything blocking views, and every seat has a full view of the field from any angle. It's also an interesting facility because it's famous for the arch that can be found above the stadium. The arch spans 350 meters across and is the largest single span roof structure in the world, and is often visible across London and is often lit up at night in colour. So on the next slide I have a couple of photos of that. So as you can see on the top left is Wembley Stadium inside, and you can see every seat has a full view of the field. And the bottom right, you can see Wembley's arch, which goes across, and it's actually tied down by cables to keep the structure supported and up. And you can see it's one long 350-meter structure. Okay, and my final interesting fact is Lord's Cricket Ground. So being from England, I thought I had to include a cricket trivia. So the reason behind this stadium being named Lord's is after its architect who designed the stadium, Thomas Lord. Up until 1864, sheep were used to keep the grass short and keep the field level by allowing to actually graze upon the grounds themselves. This facility is famous because it is one of the venues that host the Ashes cricket competition between England and Australia. And this competition occurs every 2 years, so it just happened in Australia, I believe. It is named the Ashes because in 1862, when Australia actually got their first ever win on English soil, the papers published that English cricket had died, the body would be cremated and taken back to Australia. And soon after this, the trophy was created for this competition, which is a tiny urn due to this event in 1862, and inside the urn is the ashes of one of the balls from this game. So on the next slide, I have a picture of Lord's itself. So this is the actual cricket ground today. Obviously, when it was first originally built, it did not have all of these stands and stadiums put in. And if you look on the far side, you can see the media block, which is where all of the reporters and cameras are. And then in the bottom right is the urn for the Ashes trophy itself. And inside that are actual Ashes from the game in 1862. And on my final slide is my references. Hope you guys enjoyed this and learned a little bit more about English facilities and events and sports. Thanks.